Today I'd like to talk about a model for quality improvement, the Focus-PDCA model. This model was specifically designed with healthcare industries in mind. This model is an acronym to find a process to improve, to organize a team that knows the process, to clarify current knowledge of the process, to understand the cause of the problem, select a plan and intervention, plan how we're going to carry out the change, do to implement the change, C to check, to gather data to see if the intervention worked, act to implement on a larger scale, or to be able to make modifications. This method allows companies to be able to use strategies, to test strategies one by one, and evaluate the results in a controlled environment. An article was published by the American College of Cardiology that explained how we can use this plan for quality improvement with more detail. You want to choose an improvement that will affect both the organization and the consumer. When choosing your team, you want to choose a leader with defined leadership skills and will help support the team members and also help reinforce the overall goal. Everyone needs to understand the current problem, and then we will analyze and comprehend the data that we're studying for the change. I want to know the background info and everything about it and how it can better the company. You then want to select the best pattern for improvement. Select the technique that will work best with the demographic that you have for your consumers, your coworkers, and your team. You would want to gather background info for also the current practice that is being used and see how better the new practice would be, if it was worth making a change for. Identify how the change might be resisted. You'd want to know this ahead of time. Know how the team and the company and other coworkers will communicate together. Then implement the new strategy. Analyze the new data. Did this work as well as it was anticipated to work? Can we implement this change on a larger scale and expect the same results? Was the trial accurate to scale for the future? And would we be able to use this process again, either the same team, possibly, to be able to work on new projects again in the future? A personal application for this I have would be that I went to a very small Christian school. My senior class was just 6 girls, and we were talking about what to do for our senior trip. That was our problem. We came into the conversation with a completely clean slate and brainstormed ideas. The team was my class. We clarified our problem and our knowledge, which was deciding on location and knowing our budget. We understood and analyzed different locations and what they would cost and what our budget info would be as we did fundraisers and estimated future costs. For selection, we ended up narrowing it down to Gulf Shores, Alabama. For the planning, this then went to how we presented the idea to the married couple that would be like our chaperones coming with us. We thought of any resistance they would have beforehand. We developed a way to best communicate with them and to give them our specific plan. For the act, we acted on our plan and for the do, we finished planning the trip and went on the trip to Gulf Shores. For the study, we were able to stay on our anticipated budget, and our solution worked well. We had a great trip. For the act, our budgeting techniques that we had used, we had actually pulled out spreadsheets and done lots of detailed work, and that technique was actually able to be used for future classes. A biblical application of this made me think of the battle of Jericho with Joshua. God gave Joshua instructions on how to conquer Jericho, and Joshua had to trust the words of God. Joshua knew that his problem was conquering Jericho. He knew that his team was his army and his close advisors. Their battle plan would have included them knowing about the guards in Jericho that standing watch. They would have done some background studies, which were the people that were sent to Jericho to scout out the city. Joshua would analyze the data that was reported back to him by his men, and would have concluded that, and he concluded to trust the battle plan that God had given him. They followed that plan and they conquered the city. I'm sure Jeremiah had thoughts of possible resistance from his men and the children of Israel for this plan, and and he communicated with them the commands of God as a good communicator and a good leader. The ending was what they had anticipated. It was what God said that he would do. This strengthened their faith and they gained more trust in God as they moved on. This story is found in Joshua 5, verse 13 through chapter 6, verse 20. Questions for the future. What do you think is the most crucial step of the Focus-PDCA method? Have you been a part of a team where you're able to make a decision like this? If so, was the outcome similar to what you had anticipated? If you had not had the opportunity, you can share someone else's experience. If you were a leader of a group that was using this method, what management strategy could you use and how would you be able to communicate with your team? These are the references that I use.